Admiral Richard Collins stood at the large window of Earth Defense Command Center. His eyes were fixed on the strange shape that had appeared in orbit around Earth 12 hours ago. The alien ship was massive, at least 3 miles long, according to radar readings. It had simply appeared without warning. Earth's most advanced sensors had detected nothing until it was already there. "Any response to our messages?" Richard asked, his voice steady despite the tension. Lieutenant Wendy Davis shook her head. "Nothing, sir. We've tried all frequencies, and even attempted mathematical sequences as suggested by the SETI protocols." Richard nodded slowly. After 30 years in uniform, he had prepared for many crises, but first contact with an alien civilization wasn't something anyone could truly be ready for. "Sir," called out Officer Greg Parker from his station, "we're detecting energy buildup from the vessel. They may be preparing weapons." Before Richard could respond, every screen in the command center suddenly displayed the same image. A tall, slender figure with pale blue skin and large dark eyes. The alien had no hair and its head was slightly larger than a human's. It wore what appeared to be a formal uniform of some kind, decorated with unfamiliar symbols. "People of Earth," the alien spoke in perfect English, its voice surprisingly melodic. "I am Zarvek, diplomatic envoy of the Galactic Council. We have been observing your world for some time." The room fell completely silent. Richard felt his heart pounding in his chest. "Your species has reached a critical development stage," Zarvek continued. "The Council has determined that humanity must be integrated into our collective for the stability of this sector. You have 30 standard cycles, approximately 42 of your Earth days, to prepare for integration. Representatives from your world governments must present themselves to accept our terms at the end of this period." Officer Parker whispered. "They're telling us to surrender." Zarvek's eyes seemed to narrow slightly. "Resistance would be unwise. Species that refuse integration must be pacified for the greater harmony of the galactic community. We will remain in orbit awaiting your formal acceptance." The transmission ended abruptly. Richard turned to his communications officer. "Get me the president, now." 6 hours later, Richard sat in the White House Situation Room with 24 of the most powerful people on Earth. President Alan Gray, a former diplomat with a calm demeanor even in crisis, led the emergency meeting. "The alien vessel has maintained its position," Richard reported. "They've made no aggressive moves, but they're also not responding to any further communication attempts." Dr. Olivia Martinez, the leading xenobiologist from NASA, spoke next. "Mr. President, something about this doesn't add up. In my studies of potential first contact scenarios, a truly advanced civilization would likely approach us with more patience and understanding of our social structures." "Are you suggesting these aliens aren't advanced?" asked Defense Secretary Helen Watson, with raised eyebrows. "Not at all," Olivia replied. "Their technology is clearly far beyond ours, but their diplomatic approach is oddly rushed, almost like they're working from a script they've used before." General Patricia Warren, a battle-hardened veteran with short gray hair, leaned forward. "Mr. President, while we attempt to understand their motives, we should be preparing our defenses. If their technology can cross interstellar space, they can likely wipe out our military with ease. But we must show we won't surrender without a fight." President Gray nodded thoughtfully. "I understand, General, but a show of force might be exactly what provokes them. We need to buy time." "Sir," Richard said, "I recommend we respond with openness to dialogue while secretly preparing our best options for resistance. We can say we need time to organize a proper global response while we gather more intelligence." The president looked around the room. "Any objections to Admiral Collins' approach?" No one spoke. "Very well. Let's proceed." At a secure NASA facility in Colorado, Olivia Martinez worked through the night analyzing the limited data they had on the alien vessel. When Lieutenant Sam Baker from Naval Intelligence arrived the next morning, he found her surrounded by holographic displays showing strange energy readings. "Dr. Martinez? I'm Lieutenant Baker. I've been assigned to assist your analysis." Olivia barely looked up. "Good. I need someone who can think outside the box. These energy signatures from the alien ship don't match any known physics model. Sam, a man with sharp eyes and a reputation for unconventional strategies, studied the displays. They're fluctuating in a pattern, almost like they're searching for something. Olivia finished his thought. Exactly. They're scanning Earth intensively, focusing on specific regions. Which regions? Sam asked, suddenly alert. Olivia pulled up a global map. Here, here, and here. She pointed to areas in Africa, South America, and Australia. All locations with large deposits of rare Earth elements and certain heavy metals. Sam's expression darkened. So this might not be about galactic harmony at all. I think we're being assessed for resources, Olivia said quietly. And I've found something else strange. Take a look at these transmission patterns. Sam studied the data. They're sending signals to multiple locations outside our solar system. Yes, if the Galactic Council is as powerful as they claim, why do they need to report back so frequently? It's almost like they're getting instructions, Sam finished. Or they're not alone in this sector. Their eyes met in shared understanding of what this might mean. As the first week after the aliens' arrival passed, the world's response varied dramatically. In some countries, panic led to riots and looting. In others, religious groups proclaimed the end times or the arrival of gods. Governments struggled to maintain order while frantically cooperating in ways never before seen in human history. Richard Collins watched a global news broadcast from his office. Protests filled the streets of London. Prayer gatherings crowded the squares of Rome. Military vehicles patrolled Beijing. His secure phone rang. It was President Gray. Admiral, we've received a message from the Russian president. Their deep space monitoring station detected something our systems missed. There are more alien ships beyond Neptune, at least 5 of them, holding position. Richard felt his blood run cold. They brought reinforcements. It seems so. The question is, were they expecting resistance, or is this standard procedure for them? Before Richard could answer, an aide rushed into his office. Sir, Dr. Martinez needs to speak with you immediately. She says it's urgent. On the video call, Olivia's face was pale but determined. Admiral, we've intercepted and partially decoded some of the aliens' transmissions. They're not interested in integrating us at all. They're planning to begin resource extraction as soon as we submit. Resource extraction? Richard repeated. Yes, sir, and based on the scale they're discussing, it would render Earth uninhabitable within a year. Richard looked back at the president on his other screen. Their eyes met in grim understanding. Sir, Richard said firmly, we need to prepare for the possibility that humanity's first interstellar war is about to begin. The president nodded slowly. God help us all. Colonel Frank Miller had never been a man who believed in aliens. Yet here he was, 3 weeks after the arrival of the Galactic Council ship, leading a top-secret operation that might determine the future of humanity. The underground facility in Wyoming had been built during the Cold War and forgotten by most. Now it served as the perfect hiding place for Earth's most desperate plan. Status report, Frank demanded as he entered the command center. Natalie Kim, their communications specialist, looked up from her workstation. Her eyes were tired from countless hours decoding alien transmissions. We've established contact, sir, she said. The Nebulons responded to our signal. Frank nodded, trying not to show his surprise. The Nebulons were another alien species that Dr. Martinez had discovered mentioned in the Council's communications. Taking a chance on contacting them had been a huge risk. What did they say? He asked. They want to meet, Natalie replied. They say they've been watching the Council's activities around Earth. They want to help us. Engineer Kevin Powell looked skeptical. Help us? Why would one alien race help us against another? Because they've been where we are, said Diana Scott. The former intelligence officer had been analyzing the limited information they had on galactic politics. The Nebulons were integrated by the Council 3 of their years ago. From what we can gather, integration is just a polite word for conquest. Frank considered this information. So they have reason to hate the Council. That doesn't mean we can trust them. We don't have many options left, sir, Natalie pointed out. The deadline is in 15 days, and our weapons can't even dent their ships. Frank knew she was right. Set up the meeting, maximum security protocols. If this is a trap, I want us ready. Jack Morgan was installing new communication equipment at a military base in Nevada when he first noticed something strange. As a civilian contractor with high-level clearance, he had access to areas most people didn't. The strange energy readings on his equipment led him to an unused storage room. There, he discovered an alien monitoring device hidden behind a wall panel. Instead of reporting it immediately, Jack's curiosity got the better of him. He carefully connected his tablet to the device and downloaded its data. What he found made his blood run cold. The Galactic Council had agents on Earth, actual aliens disguised to look human, gathering information and sabotaging preparation efforts. The monitoring device contained images of these infiltrators meeting with humans, some of whom Jack recognized as high-ranking officials. His first thought was to take this information public. But who would believe him? And if these aliens could look human, who could he trust? Jack packed up his equipment and drove straight to Chicago, where his sister lived. He needed time to think, but when he arrived, the city was in chaos. A large crowd had gathered downtown to protest the military's handling of the alien situation. As Jack watched from a distance, he saw council peacekeepers descend from a small craft. They claimed they were there to ensure civil order at the request of Earth authorities. The crowd's anger turned to fear as the aliens began using strange weapons that paralyzed people who got too close. When a young woman tried to run, an alien struck her down with a beam of energy that left her convulsing on the ground. In that moment, Jack made his decision. He would not leak the information. Instead, he would find others who were fighting back. In a secure room at NASA, Dr. Olivia Martinez and Lieutenant Sam Baker worked with Laura Chen, the agency's top AI specialist. The three had been analyzing council communications around the clock. "I've got it," Laura said suddenly. "The encryption uses a quantum algorithm, but there's a pattern to it. My program can decode about 60% of their messages now." Sam leaned forward eagerly. "What are they saying?" Laura's expression grew grim as she read the translations. "It's worse than we thought. The integration ceremony they want us to participate in? It's actually some kind of formal surrender where they'll place neural suppressors on world leaders." "Mind control technology?" Olivia asked in disbelief. Laura nodded. "And they're planning to begin resource extraction immediately after. They're particularly interested in our heavy metals and something they call biological compounds." "Biological compounds," Sam repeated. "They want our plants and animals too?" "Or us," Olivia said quietly. "We need to get this to Admiral Collins immediately." On the far side of the moon, hidden from Earth's view, Colonel Frank Miller's team prepared to meet the Nebulan representatives. Their small craft had been modified with stealth technology to avoid council detection. Frank, Diana, and Natalie wore spacesuits as they waited in the airlock. None of them knew what to expect. The Nebulan ship was smaller than the council vessels and seemed to shimmer slightly, as if not entirely solid. When it docked with their craft, Frank felt his heart racing. The airlock opened to reveal a being unlike anything humans had imagined. The Nebulan stood about 7 feet tall, with 4 arms and skin that glowed with shifting patterns of light. Its face had no distinct features except for 3 large eyes arranged in a triangle. "I am Trelnar," the alien said, its voice somehow projected directly into their minds. "Commander of the Nebulan Resistance." Frank stepped forward. "Colonel Frank Miller, Earth Defense Force." "You are brave to meet us," Trelnar said. "The Council has likely told you that you are alone, that resistance is futile, something like that," Frank admitted. "They have told this lie to dozens of civilizations," Trelnar replied. "My people believed them. We submitted to integration. Now our world is a mining colony. Our people little more than slaves." "Why would they do this?" Diana asked. "If they're so advanced, why not just ask for trade agreements?" "The Council is not what it appears," Trelnar explained. They are not representatives of a galactic government, but a criminal organization that has stolen technology from conquered worlds. They use that technology to subjugate more species, taking what they want and moving on when a planet is depleted. Franker felt cold despite his suit's temperature regulation. How many other species have they conquered? 27 that we know of, Trelnar answered. But yours is the first to detect their true purpose before submission. So you'll help us fight them? Natalie asked. We will do more than that, Trelnar said. We will help you defeat them. Together with other enslaved species who are ready to rebel, we can end their reign of terror. Frank looked at the alien, searching for any sign of deception. What do you need from us? Courage, Trelnar replied simply, and a plan that the Council will never expect. As Earth's deadline for submission grew closer, Richard Collins presented the Defiance Protocol to a secret meeting of world leaders. The plan combined Earth's military capabilities with Nebulan technology in a desperate gamble. President Gray looked around the room at the solemn faces of his counterparts from Russia, China, the European Union, and a dozen other nations. We all understand what failure means, he said. If we submit, our planet will be stripped of resources and our people enslaved. If we fight and lose, the outcome may be even worse. But if we win, Richard added, we not only save Earth, but free dozens of other worlds from Council control. The HFY Russian president stood. Russia stands with Earth, we will fight. One by one, every leader in the room voiced their support. As they filed out to implement their parts of the plan, Richard approached Olivia and Sam. We have 10 days until the deadline, he said. Make them count. Captain Ryan Howard stood in the hangar of the secret underground base, staring at the spacecraft before him. The Challenger was Earth's most advanced vessel, originally designed for Mars missions. Now, with Nebulan modifications, it looked like something from another world. Its hull gleamed with an unusual metal that absorbed light rather than reflected it. New weapon systems protruded from various points, unlike anything humans had built before. She's ready, Captain, said Kevin Powell, wiping grease from his hands. The engineer had worked day and night for a week, integrating alien technology with human engineering. The shield neutralizers are installed. If they work like the Nebulons claim, we'll be able to bypass the Council ship's defenses. Ryan nodded, trying to look confident for his crew. Inside, he felt the weight of their mission. They would lead the first strike against a vastly superior alien force. The fate of Earth might depend on their success. How long until we launch? He asked. 8 hours, Kevin replied. Just enough time for one final systems check and for the crew to get some rest. Ryan knew none of them would rest, not with less than 2 days remaining before the Council's deadline. Diana Scott moved silently through the training facility, watching the Special Forces team she had assembled. 20 soldiers from a dozen countries, each an expert in their field. They practiced in simulated alien environments based on data provided by the Nebulons. Again, she ordered as a team failed to breach a mock alien doorway. You have 15 seconds to get through that door before the security system activates. A soldier from Brazil looked at her with frustration. These alien systems don't make sense. Why would they put the access panel on the ceiling? Because the Zorlians who designed those ships have 4 arms and can climb walls, Diana explained patiently. You need to think like them to beat them. The soldier nodded, and the team tried again. This time, they lifted their smallest member to reach the ceiling panel. They were through in 12 seconds. Diana allowed herself a small smile. They were learning. Across the planet, Council enforcer ships had begun positioning themselves above major cities. Their presence was a clear threat. Submit or face the consequences. In Washington, D.C., President Gray stood on the White House lawn, looking up at the massive vessel that now blocked much of the sky. Citizens had either fled the city or locked themselves in their homes. The streets were eerily quiet. His aide approached cautiously. Sir, we have reports of similar ships over Beijing, Moscow, London, and 20 other major cities. They're trying to intimidate us, the president said calmly. Have there been any aggressive actions? No, sir, just waiting. Then we continue. With the plan. Is the bunker prepared? Yes, sir. You can broadcast the response from there when the time comes. The president took one last look at the alien ship. Let's hope we're making the right choice. In Nevada, scientists at a top-secret research facility worked frantically to complete their projects before evacuation. The facility contained some of Earth's most advanced technology, making it a prime target if conflict began. Jack Morgan had made his way there after connecting with resistance members. His knowledge of the alien monitoring devices had proven valuable. Now he helped load critical research onto secure transports. The building shook suddenly, dust falling from the ceiling. Everyone froze. They're landing, someone whispered. Jack looked at the security monitors. A council ship had descended near the facility's main entrance. Alien troops in sleek armor poured out, moving with precision toward the building. They know what's here? The lead scientist said, panic in his voice. We need more time to evacuate, Jack thought quickly. The northeast access tunnel. It's not on any official blueprints. I helped install communication lines there last year. How many people can get out that way? All of us if we move now. But someone needs to slow them down. The room fell silent. Then Jack squared his shoulders. I'll do it. Get everyone and everything you can through that tunnel. I'll buy you time. Admiral Collins watched from the command center as reports came in from around the world. Council forces had begun seizing key facilities, research centers, military bases, power plants. The alien ships had maintained their positions over major cities, but had not yet opened fire. Their strategy is clear, Richard said to the officers around him. They're taking our strategic assets intact. They want our technology and infrastructure undamaged. That gives us an advantage, General Warren replied. They're being careful. We don't have to be. Richard nodded. Is the Challenger ready? Captain Howard reports all systems go. They're waiting for the signal. Richard checked the time. 18 hours until the deadline. Tell all units to prepare for Phase 1. We move at dawn. In the darkness of space, Trelnar's Nebulan scout ships monitored the Council fleet. Their advanced cloaking technology kept them hidden as they gathered intelligence on enemy positions. The humans are brave, Trelnar commented to his second-in-command. But they do not yet understand the full extent of the Council's capabilities. Should we tell them about the planet killer? His officer asked. Trelnar considered this. No. If they knew, they might surrender out of fear. Their courage comes from believing they can win. We must nurture that belief while preparing for the worst. And if the Council deploys it, then we implement our contingency plan. The humans must not face extinction as the Marvinians did. In Nevada, Jack Morgan had set explosive charges at key structural points throughout the research facility. As Council forces breached the main doors, he triggered the first detonation, collapsing the entrance and trapping several alien soldiers. His heart pounded as he ran through corridors, staying ahead of the aliens while detonating more charges. Each explosion bought precious minutes for the evacuation. When he reached the central laboratory, he found it empty. The scientists had escaped with their research. All that remained were non-essential equipment and decoy data. Jack smiled grimly as he heard alien footsteps approaching. He had one charge left, and it was the biggest. He planned to trigger it remotely after escaping himself. But as he turned to leave, he found his path blocked by 3 Council soldiers. Their weapons raised, they spoke in harsh, clicking sounds. Jack couldn't understand their words, but their intent was clear. They were taking him prisoner. As they approached, Jack made his decision. His finger moved toward the detonator. Suddenly, gunfire erupted from a side corridor. 2 of the aliens fell immediately. The third turned to face the new threat and was cut down by another burst of shots. A figure in tactical gear stepped into. Fuda, come on, a woman's voice called. This place is coming down. Jack didn't waste time asking questions. He followed the stranger through a maintenance passage he hadn't known existed. Behind them, more explosions rocked the facility as his remaining charges detonated. They emerged into daylight half a mile from the building. A camouflaged vehicle waited there. Who are you? Jack asked as they sped away. The woman removed her helmet, revealing short red hair. Lieutenant Kate Wilson, Army Rangers. I was sent to make sure you got out alive. Why me? Because Admiral Collins says you're the only one who can identify the alien infiltrators. She handed him a secure tablet, and we found more of them. As the deadline approached, Earth made its decision. President Gray addressed the world in a broadcast that also went directly to the Council ship in orbit. People of Earth and representatives of the Galactic Council, he began, his voice steady. After careful consideration of the Council's offer of integration, humanity has reached its decision. He paused, taking a deep breath. We respectfully decline membership under the current terms. In orbit, on the Council flagship, Zarvek received the broadcast with cold anger. He turned to his commander. Begin the pacification, he ordered. Show them the cost of defiance. As the alien weapons powered up, the Defiance Protocol activated. The battle for Earth had begun. The sky over Chicago burned with strange colors as Council ships launched their first attack. Energy weapons carved glowing lines through the air, striking military bases and defense installations with frightening precision. The ground shook as explosions bloomed across the landscape. Admiral Richard Collins watched the attack from the underground command center. Screens showed similar scenes playing out across the globe. Moscow, Beijing, London, Cairo, all under heavy bombardment. Civilian casualties? He asked, voice tight with concern. Minimal so far, reported his aide. They're targeting military. Assets first, just as we predicted. Richard nodded grimly. The Council wanted Earth's resources and infrastructure intact. They needed humans alive, but compliant. Launch all fighters, he ordered. Execute Phase 1. Around the world, hidden bunkers and underground hangars opened. Earth's air forces rose to meet the alien threat. Thousands of aircraft equipped with Nebulon-enhanced weapons. They couldn't match the Council ships for power, but they had numbers and one crucial advantage. The Council didn't expect serious resistance. Captain Ryan Howard felt the Challenger vibrate as it rose through the launch tunnel. His crew, 12, of Earth's best pilots, engineers, and soldiers, ran final checks on their systems. Shield neutralizers at full power, reported his second-in-command, Lisa Chen. Nebulon cloaking active. Remember the plan, Ryan told his crew. We look like we're retreating from Earth. Once we're past their defensive line, we circle back and hit their flagship's propulsion system. The Challenger burst from its hidden silo and accelerated into the atmosphere. Outside, the battle had already begun. Human fighters engaged smaller Council craft while the massive alien capital ships maintained their positions in high orbit. Council ships detecting us, Lisa reported. They're scanning us. Good. They think we're trying to escape. Ryan allowed himself a small smile. Let's give them something else to worry about. Deploy the decoys. From the Challenger's launch, tubes 24 small craft shot outward, each emitting signals that mimicked human escape vessels. The Council ships immediately began pursuing them, drawing attention away from the Challenger's true purpose. On the ground, human armies engaged Council landing forces. The aliens had superior technology, but humans fought with desperate courage and knowledge of their terrain. In the Australian outback, a Council troop carrier landed near a seemingly abandoned mining facility. Alien soldiers in environment suits spread out, weapons ready. Their scanners had detected valuable minerals and equipment. From hidden positions in the rocky landscape, retired Sergeant Bill Cooper gave the signal. His makeshift militia, miners, farmers, and local police, opened fire from all directions. Their weapons had been modified with Nebulon technology to penetrate alien armor. The Council forces, caught by surprise, tried to retreat to their ship. But Bill's people had expected this. Explosives buried beneath the landing zone detonated, disabling the alien vessel. Keep firing, Bill shouted. Don't let them regroup. Similar ambushes played out across the planet. Council forces had expected to face organized military units. Instead, they encountered guerrilla tactics and civilian resistance fighters who appeared from nowhere and melted back into the landscape. In orbit, Natalie Kim floated in the communications center of Earth's primary defense platform. The space station had been hidden on the dark side of the moon until this moment. Now it served as their command center for the space battle. "The virus is ready," she told Admiral Collins via secure channel. "But I'll only get one shot at their network." "Wait for Captain Howard's signal," Richard replied. "We need all our attacks to hit simultaneously." Natalie watched the tactical display, showing the positions of all spacecraft. The Challenger was approaching the Council flagship, still undetected thanks to its cloaking technology. The dozens of decoy vessels had scattered the Council's smaller ships across a wide area. 20 seconds to strike position," Ryan's voice came through the comm. Natalie placed her hand on the transmit button, ready to launch the communications virus Laura Chen had designed. It would flood the Council's network with contradictory commands, temporarily disrupting coordination between their vessels. 3, 2, 1. Now. The Challenger dropped its cloak at point-blank range to the Council flagship, appearing seemingly out of nowhere. Its weapons, a combination of Earth's nuclear technology and Nebulon energy manipulation, fired directly at the massive ship's propulsion systems. The flagship's shields flickered as the specially designed weapons disrupted their coherence. For 3 critical seconds, the shields failed completely. The Challenger's main cannon fired, sending a concentrated energy beam into the alien vessel's engine section. At the same instant, Natalie activated the virus. Across the battlefield, Council ships suddenly lost contact with each other. Some fired at friendly vessels, others shut down completely. On Earth's surface, the coordinated alien ground assault fell into disarray as their commanders received conflicting orders or no orders at all. Ryan felt a surge of hope as the Council flagship's engines exploded in a cascade of blue-white energy. The massive ship began to drift, its power systems fluctuating. "Direct hit," Lisa shouted. "Their main power grid is failing." But their celebration was cut short as secondary systems on the flagship came online. Emergency shields surrounded the damaged sections. Warning alarms blared through the Challenger. "They're locking weapons on us," Lisa reported, her voice steady despite the danger. "Multiple systems targeting." "Evasive maneuvers," Ryan ordered. "Get us out of their firing arc!" The Challenger rolled away from the flagship, engines straining. Behind them, energy weapons charged. On the Council flagship, Zarvek watched with cold fury as his ship's systems recovered from the surprise attack. The humans had damaged his vessel, a feat he had believed impossible. "The primitives have Nebulon technology," he said to his commander. "This changes our assessment." "Should we deploy the planet killer?" the commander asked. Zarvek considered the option. The planet killer could render Earth uninhabitable in minutes, but would destroy the very resources they had come to harvest. "No. Send in the second wave. Target their leadership. Without commanders, their resistance will crumble." As the battle raged above, a small fleet of ships appeared at the edge of the solar system. The Nebulons had arrived, their vessels shimmering, like mirages against the starfield. Trelnar opened a channel to Earth's defense platform. "We are in position. The Council has not detected us." "Perfect timing," Richard replied. "Their formation is scattered. Hit them from behind while they're distracted." The Nebulon ships accelerated toward Earth, weapons charging. They were fewer, in number than the Council fleet, but their technology was more advanced, stolen from the Council and improved upon during years of resistance. Dr. Olivia Martinez watched the space battle from the command center, her attention fixed on energy. Readings from the Council flagship. Something was happening, a power buildup unlike anything they had observed before. "Admiral," she called urgently to Richard. "I'm detecting a strange energy signature from the flagship. It doesn't match any of their known weapons." Richard moved quickly to her station, studying the readings. Could it be the planet killer Trelnar mentioned? Possibly, but it's behaving oddly, like it's searching for something specific. Lieutenant Sam Baker joined them, his eyes widening as he analyzed the data. "It's not targeting the planet," he said. "It's scanning for the Nebulons." The three exchanged worried glances as they realized what this meant. The Council had anticipated the Nebulon alliance and prepared a weapon specifically to counter them. "We need to warn Trelnar," Richard said. And Captain Howard needs to take out that weapon before it activates. The battle for Earth had reached its critical point. Captain Ryan Howard stared at the mission update on his screen. The Challenger had already completed its primary objective, damaging the Council flagship's propulsion systems. Now they had a new, even more critical task: disable the mysterious weapon before it could target the Nebulon fleet. "Everyone understand the mission?" Ryan asked his crew. The faces around him showed a mix of determination and fear. "We'll only get one shot at this," Lisa said. "If that weapon is what we think it is, it could wipe out our Nebulon allies with one blast." Ryan nodded. "Then we make that shot count. Lieutenant Baker has identified the energy source. It's located in the central dome of the flagship. That's their most heavily defended section," the weapons officer pointed out. "Yes," Ryan agreed, "which is why we won't be going alone." On his command screen, he could see Diana Scott's Special Forces team preparing for space deployment. They had trained for this, boarding an alien vessel in the middle of battle. "Our job is to create a diversion," Ryan explained. "We'll hit their defensive systems hard, drawing attention away from the boarding party." The Challenger's engines flared as it began its approach to the Council flagship once more. On Earth's defense platform, Admiral Collins watched the battle unfold. The situation was chaotic, but not hopeless. Human fighters had taken heavy losses but had destroyed dozens of smaller Council ships. The Nebulon fleet was engaging the Council's rear guard, preventing reinforcements from joining the main battle. "Sir," Natalie called from her station, "Diana's team is ready for deployment. The Challenger will begin their diversion in 60 seconds. Richard looked at the tactical display. This was the moment everything hinged on. If they could destroy the Council's secret weapon, they had a chance. If not, "Tell all Earth forces to provide whatever support they can to the Challenger," he ordered. "Every fighter we have left needs to focus on the flagship." In the Council flagship's command center, Zarvek received reports of the new human attack forming. His ship's engines were damaged, but weapons and shields remained operational. "They are persistent," he remarked coldly. "Activate all defensive systems. The anti-Nebulon cannon must be protected at all costs." His second-in-command looked troubled. "Grand Archon Vesmor is demanding an update. He asks why a primitive species is giving us such difficulty." Zarvek's expression darkened. "Tell him the humans have unexpected assistance. And tell him the weapon will fire in less than 10 minutes. Diana Scott and her team of 12 Special Forces soldiers clung to the outside of a small stealth shuttle as it approached the Council flagship. Their suits, enhanced with Nebulon technology, protected them from the vacuum of space and masked their life signs from alien scanners. "Remember your training," Diana said through the comm. Once inside, we moved directly to the central dome. No detours, no heroics. In the distance, she could see the Challenger beginning its attack run. Dozens of Earth fighters joined it, firing at the flagship's defensive systems. The massive alien vessel responded with a barrage of energy weapons, filling space with deadly light. The shuttle reached the flagship's hull undetected, attaching to a maintenance hatch identified by Nebulon intelligence. Diana's team quickly cut through the outer locks and slipped inside. The alien corridors were bathed in pulsing red light, their equivalent of a battle alert. Diana checked her scanner, looking for life signs. 2 guards ahead," she whispered. "Sam, Mason, take them quietly." The 2 soldiers moved forward with practiced silence. There were brief sounds of struggle, then Sam's voice. "Clear." The team advanced toward the central dome, following the steadily increasing energy readings. Jack Morgan and Lieutenant Kate Wilson crouched in the ruins of what had once been downtown Chicago. The city around them was largely abandoned, with occasional explosions illuminating the skyline as the battle continued overhead. There, Jack pointed at a group of figures moving between buildings. "Those aren't human movements." Kate raised her binoculars. "Council infiltrators. Looks like they're targeting the emergency broadcast station. If they take that out, the military loses direct communication with the civilian population," Jackie said. "Panic could spread." Kate checked her weapon. "Not if we stop them first." The 2 began moving through the ruins, circling to intercept the alien group. They were just two people against multiple enemy agents, but they had the advantage of knowing the terrain. As they set up their ambush, Kate's radio crackled. All units be advised. Critical operation in progress against Council flagship. Stand by for possible enemy retaliation on ground targets. Jack and Kate exchanged looks. Whatever was happening up there would determine if their fight on the ground even mattered. The Challenger rocked as enemy fire struck its shields. Ryan gripped his command chair, watching as their shield strength dropped steadily. Diversion is working, Lisa reported. They've diverted 70% of their defensive systems to target us. And Diana's team? Inside and moving toward the target. Ryan nodded. Keep their attention on us, whatever it takes. The Challenger fired all weapons, targeting shield generators and weapon emplacements. Around them, Earth fighters did the same, many exploding as they took direct hits from the flagship's defenses. Diana's team reached the central dome after fighting through several security checkpoints. Before them stood a massive chamber dominated by a pulsing crystalline structure. Energy arced between different parts of the device, building in intensity. That's it, Diana said. The anti-nebulon weapon. How do we destroy it? Asked one of her soldiers. Diana removed specialized charges from her pack. Explosives designed by Earth engineers using nebulon principles. We place these at the junction points. The reaction should cascade through the entire system. As they moved to surround the device, a door at the far end of the chamber opened. A tall, imposing figure entered, flanked by council guards. Unlike the other aliens they had encountered, this one wore ornate armor and carried himself with unmistakable authority. Grand Archon Vesmor, Diana whispered, recognizing the description from Nebulon Intelligence. The supreme leader of the council had come to oversee the weapons deployment personally. Humans, Vesmor spoke, his voice eerily perfect English. Your resistance is impressive but futile. Do you know why the council truly fears your species? Diana kept her weapon trained on him as her team continued placing charges. Enlighten us. It is not your technology or your weapons, Vesmor said. It is your unpredictability, your ability to inspire others to rebellion. 27 species we have conquered with minimal resistance, yet you, a primitive world, have united with our enemies and damaged our flagship. Maybe you should have left us alone, Diana replied. Vesmor's alien features formed what might have been a smile. That was never an option. Your planet's resources are valuable, but your elimination has become more important. You represent a dangerous idea, that resistance is possible. Diana saw her team signal that the charges were placed. Well, here's another dangerous idea for you. She triggered the detonator. The explosion rocked the flagship, visible even from Earth. On the defense platform, Richard Collins watched as energy readings from the council vessel fluctuated wildly. The weapon is offline, Olivia reported. Diana's team did it. Communications from the flagship had ceased completely. For several tense minutes, they waited for any sign of the Challenger or Diana's team. Then a small shuttle appeared, escorted by the damaged but still flying Challenger. This is Captain Howard. Ryan's voice came through, tired but triumphant. Mission accomplished. We've got Diana's team and a guest you might want to meet. 3 days later, President Gray addressed the newly formed Galactic Assembly of Free Worlds from the rebuilt United Nations Chamber in New York. Representatives from Earth stood alongside delegates from the Nebulons and a dozen other formerly subjugated species. The capture of Grand Archon Vesmor and the destruction of the Council flagship has marked the beginning of a new era, he said. The Council's forces are in retreat across the galaxy as other worlds rise up against their oppressors. In the audience, Richard Collins sat next to Olivia Martinez and Sam Baker. Behind them were Ryan Howard, Diana Scott, Jack Morgan, and Kate Wilson, just a few of the thousands who had fought for Earth's freedom. Today, we do not simply celebrate our survival, the president continued. We celebrate the birth of a true galactic assembly, one founded on mutual respect and self-determination rather than conquest and subjugation. As the delegates rose in applause, Richard leaned toward Olivia. So ready for your new job? Earth's first ambassador to the stars is going to be quite busy. Olivia smiled. I think humanity has proven we can handle whatever the universe throws at us. Outside, people gathered in streets and parks across the world, watching the ceremony on massive screens. Among them in Chicago, Jack stood with Kate, looking up at the night sky where alien ships now moved peacefully in orbit. Hard to believe a month ago we didn't even know aliens existed, Kate said. What happens next? She asked. Jack thought about the reports of council holdouts, of worlds still under alien control, of the vast galaxy now open to human exploration. I think, he said slowly, this is just the beginning. Above them, the stars seemed brighter, somehow, filled with new possibilities in a universe forever changed.